we were very close at the peace agreement in spring 2022. There is a book now coming out in our company by a Swiss diplomat who was involved in Ankara in these negotiations on the side. And he writes in his book that Ukraine and Russia were so close at an agreement, and it was positively the intervention of the United States and by Boris Johnson, who said, no, we don't want this peace. Do you think that is true? And second, what is the agenda of the United States? Do you really think that they want to go to the end to weaken Russia strategically?
Well, big powers, they have their interests. Of course, there is no love. And if they see someone as a security threat, if possible, they would go by the end. But I believe that was a wrong assessment. Although they might believe differently, because they can say, okay, we weakened them very much, and they lost people's power, they lost many things. But at the end, I'm not sure that they're very satisfied with the outcome so far. I believe that there were two big opportunities for the peace. That number one, which you have already mentioned, and number two, after a big Ukrainian offensive, after they retook Izium, Balakleya, Kupiansk, Krasny Liman, and many other places. And that was the very best moment for when they had an initiative to making a peace. But nobody wanted to do it because everybody thought momentum was on our side, and now we can push them further more and we can do something more. But
you have just had a visit by the foreign minister of Ukraine, by Mr. Kuleba.
Yes, Mr. Kuleba and Olena Zelenska.
What is your impression? Would the Ukrainian government be willing to negotiate with Russia, or is there also the total confrontational mood?
I cannot say that it's a confrontational mood and mode. They are not in an easy situation, and I do understand their position. Doesn't mean that I 100% agree with them, but I do understand their position. Like I do my best to understand Russian position as well. I'm afraid that we are very, very far from reaching any kind of arrangement. I spoke to President Xi as well, Chinese president, and he has the same view on this issue as I do. We are very far away from reaching the agreement.
And how close?
Not before the end of the year.
How close are we now to a third world war, a confrontation?
I cannot say a third world war, but that big confrontation, how far we are, I believe that we are not far away from it. Not more than 3-4 months. And there is a danger to happen even before that.
Where do you stand in this whole insanity? Where does Serbia stand in this big conflict?
We'll keep peace, stability and tranquility within the region and in our country. We'll do our best, at least. We were the champions of the world in number of wars that we had in 20th century. First Balkan War, Second Balkan War, First World War. In First World War, I don't know whether you knew the fact that we lost 28.9% of our overall population. And Serbia became the biggest victim of the First World War. And no one has ever acknowledged that. These data are data that were shown at Paris Peace Conference. And France lost 10.5%, but we lost 28.9%. And then we had a Second World War with that terrible concentration camp in Croatia, Jasenovac, and many other things. 1 million Serbs were killed during the Second World War, and we were the only who were opposing the Nazi movement in an entire region from the very beginning. At the end of the war, everybody joined us, as it goes, always. But then we had all these wars during 1990s, then NATO aggression in 1999. And after all these wars, my big dream is to preserve the peace here and stability, and will do my best to keep the country safe and stable. That's why I'm very cautious, very prudent on every single statement against anyone. You know, I don't fight with anyone, just keeping tranquility, and that's it.
And the vocabulary is very crass. The vocabulary is very tough on all sides, especially also on the European side.